Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. I have another tutorial for you today from my mini album that I'm working on. Let me move this out of the way. This is the page we're going to work on today, and I'm going to make a lace-up instead of a gatefold. These won't actually open, but I'm going to make a lace-up here for these pages. So I'm going to show you how I did this. This is an 8x8 album, and I have cut these pages at 6 by 3. Okay, so I've got two of these like this. I went ahead and rounded the corners on the inside, and then I cut a pocket, and the pocket is 5 by 2.5. And I'll show you what we're going to do with that in a minute. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is some scoring. So I've got my scoreboard out here. Get that out of the way. And the reason we're scoring is to make hinges. We want to create hinges. Hinges. Yeah, they're hinges, but it's more like room because these are not going to actually open. So I'm at 3 inches. I'm going to score this at 2 3/4 on the side without the curved edges. Okay, 2 3/4. And then on my pocket, I'm going to score the bottom half of it. It's 2.5 inches. I'm going to score it at 2. I'm giving myself a 1/2 inch down there at the bottom. And on the sides, I'm going to score 2 1/4 inch marks. So 4.5, 4 3/4. Okay, turn it around, 4.5, 4 3/4. So that's just going to give us like a little bit of a gusset. So we've got some room to work with. All right, now on these guys, we're just going to fold them back, and we're going to go ahead and burnish that down. Fold this back and burnish that down a little. On this one, we want to cut off that corner triangle there. Okay, so we're going to cut, let's see if I can show you, where these inside lines meet right there at that point. We want to cut that point off. So right there is what it looks like. Same thing on this. That just gives your tabs room to fold in and not really be in the way. All right, so we're going to fold one tab in, and we're going to fold one tab back. So we accordion folded that one. All right, so the big one, the first inside one went in, and then this one goes out. This big one on the bottom just simply goes up. Now you can burnish all that if you want to. I'm not going to because I want the room. See, it's going to give us a pocket with a little bit of room in it because I've got a plan for this pocket. I have a method to my madness. Okay, so let's put our pages, get it right. All right, so our pages are going to go there. Our pocket is going to go inside there. Ooh, you know what? I could even drop it. Oh, I could. I think I'll drop the pocket. Okay, just for fun. All right, so I'm going to drop the pocket down here just for fun. So we're going to put glue on that bottom tab. We're going to put glue on this one little tab and that one little tab right there. All right, now I'm just going to put it down here. You can measure it if you want to get it exactly in the middle, but that looks pretty close. All right, so I'm just going to hold that for a minute. Now, what we're going to do with these is we're going to punch holes and put eyelets down this side and down this side. So I need to measure so I can evenly space my eyelets like every inch or whatever. Okay, so let's do that. Before we do that, we need to put a mat on this pocket. I forgot about that. So now my pocket measures 4 by 2. So I'm going to cut a mat to fit this, and that mat will be about 3 3/4 by 1 3/4. Okay, so I just put a little I took a little scrap left over, and I'm just going to glue that down so our pocket is matted. All right, so I'm just kind of gluing that down into the center. Okay, now, so what I've got here is about 5 inches. I don't want to be up in the curve here or here. So from this straight part to here, we're looking at 5 inches. So the center would be 2.5. So we can put an eyelet at 2.5, and we could go down 1 inch at 1.5 and put another one, and we can go down to 1/2. And then here we'll go to 3.5 and put an eyelet, and we'll go to 4.5 and put an eyelet. All right, so what I'm going to do, I'm just going to move that in just a little bit, and I'm going to mark where I want my eyelets. I want them really close to the edge, but not ridiculously close. Okay, so I'm going to mark 2.5, 1.5, 1/2 inch. All right, then 3.5, 4.5. And then we'll use this one as a template for this one so that they match. Okay, so I'm just going to take my hole punch, and I'm going to punch. First of all, I need to be able to see what I'm doing. I love these crocodiles, but paper gets hung up in there, and sometimes you can't. I need to see my hole. I need to be able to see through that. That's what it's for. All right, so there's 1, and there's 2, and 3, and 4. 5 will be a good number to do for this lace up. Okay, now I'm going to use this as my template for this. I'm going to put these back to back, and I'm just going to draw a little pencil line in all of those holes. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that way they will match up exactly. All right, now I'm going to punch these holes. Okay, all the holes are punched, and they are going to go here and here. So we're going to overlap that bottom pocket just a little bit. All right, now at this point we can go ahead and glue these down. All right, so what I want to do is I want to center them with the pocket. See, I'm looking at the pocket down here. I want to center that with the pocket. There's no ruler. You may want to measure this one because it's roughly 4, which means 2 would be the exact center. So I'm looking at that 2, and I'm just putting the center of this exactly in the middle. And then I want it centered up and down, and I can tell it needs to go up just a hair. So let's go up with it. Let's look down the side and see if that looks straight. This side looks just a hair crooked. All right, now what we're going to do is we're just going to glue that tab, that edge of that little tab up underneath there. All right, so I'm doing this the hard way, but it's centered and I don't want to mess it up. So now, did I get the, yes, I did. All right, so I'm just gluing that. Now at this point you could let that one go because it'll be easy enough to line it back up. Just taking out some of the glue that's squeezed out. Uh-oh, don't go crooked on me now. Don't go crooked. There we go. All right, now we'll do this one the right way instead of doing it the hard way. Go ahead and put the glue on the tab so I can see it. Line her back up with this one. All right, now check it. Check here, check there. And actually, I'm going to slide that just a little. I want just a little space between there, and I almost forgot to leave it between here and here. Maybe 1/8 of an inch or whatever, but I like to have just a little space there so what's hiding behind it kind of peeks through, you know. All right, now all we've got to do is put our eyelets on and lace her up. Lace her up. All right, make sure I get all that other glue off of there. Let me show y'all something that I found at the store. I found this at Dollar Tree, and it's a glue eraser. And so if you get a little bit of extra glue somewhere, you just do it like that, and it just pulls it right off without tearing your paper. especially when you get that little shiny bit of glue. You know, we don't like that little shiny bit showing through. So I'm looking to see if there's any on this side, and it's not. But anyway, that's a neat little thing. I found them at Michael's yesterday too, and they were like $3. So if you can find them at Dollar Tree, get you one. It works very good. All right, so this closes up. Now, I could put my eyelets on ahead of time, which probably would have been easier, but did I think about it? No. So we're going to do them now. All right, so I got these little 1/8" holes, and I've got 1/8" eyelets. And yes, I wished I'd have done it before I glued them down. That would have been simpler, but that's okay. This won't be too difficult to do, I don't think. It's just a matter of turning the book and getting room to do it. There we go. All right, now, oh, I've got the wrong size on there because I was doing big ones yesterday for something else. Okay, so all I'm going to do is put an eyelet in each hole. And the reason I say I wish I'd have done it ahead of time, because sometimes they don't close real flat. It's still got a little sharp edge. And I like to take my little hammer and tap that down. So I'll have to do that the hard way. But anyway, all right, so I'm going to put all my eyelets on. Okay, so I've got all my eyelets in. I did have to take my little tap hammer and tap the backs down. All right, so there's all my eyelets. Now we're going to string it with something lacy. So let me see what I can find. Okay, so this is some tea-dyed lace that it's actually vintage lace, but I tea-dyed it to make it even a darker shade. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut a point on the end of it. Because we're going to need a good point full width to go through all these eyelets. Now, I usually start at the bottom and go up because I like my bow here with the little dangles hanging there. So I just kind of lace it up like you would a pair of shoes. So I go in there and then go straight over to the other side. And I don't know how much it's going to take, so I've got way more than I know that I need, but that's okay. I can trim it off and use it for other stuff. All right. Now, when we lace this up, it's going to be kind of loose because I have an idea of putting a little mini booklet back there, and that pocket's going to hold that booklet in place. So it's going to be a tall, skinny. That was my thought anyway. All right, so now we're going to crisscross. So now I'm at the top, so I'm going to go, and you can go under again if you want to. You can go down from the top, and this side needs a point, and it really don't matter how you do it. I think I'm going to go down from the top because then more of my lace will probably show on the front, on the top. Okay, so still going here. I'm leaving it pretty loose for now. I will tighten it up when I get it done, because if I tighten it up now, it makes it harder to get to the sides that I need to get into. So I'm just pulling these through. And this one, where are you? There you are. This one's going to go down right here. And you don't have to use lace. You can use twine or anything like that. Okay, so on the very last one, I went down under and came out because I wanted my ties to come out on the top. All right, so now that everything's in there, now, so we want it to lay flat. So now we're going to go back and we're going to tighten it up. So I'm going to tighten this one by pulling those two, and then I'm going to tighten this one, and then this one. Oh, how pretty is that? So sweet. I love it. I love it, love it, love it. All right. Now, I'm just going to take this and I'm going to tie it at the top to make a pretty little bow. All right. Pull that down just a little. Okay, about like that. Get that straight. Okay. Now, okay, so I've got that tied and I just trimmed the edges off. And now I want to make a little booklet to go behind there. And before I do that, I'm seriously thinking about adding a little strip of lace right there, but is that too much? Yes, no, yes, no. I don't know. Maybe I will. Let's get that straight to begin with. All right, so I think I'm going to put a little strip of lace right there, and then I'm going to make a tall skinny, and it's going to be pretty shabby chic, vintagey looking, because that's how this page is. As a matter of fact, that's how this whole album is going to be, kind of vintage slash shabby chic-ish. That's all my words. Yeah, I think I'll put that right there. I think that it just needed a little more lace. Can you ever have too much lace? I don't know. I like lace. All right, now I'll put that there. Okay, so for our little booklet, we want it to be, well, I want it to stick out enough so you can actually grab it. So I'm going to say 7 inches. So it's going to stick out of this a little bit. So 7 inches tall, and it's going to be a skinny mini, 3. A 7-inch by 3. So if I want it 3 wide, I'm going to cut it 6. That way I can fold it and fold my pages. So 7 by 6 will be the cover and the pages that I need to cut. Okay, so this is going to be my cover for my little booklet, and I've cut it 7 by 6. I'm going to score it down the middle at 3, and we're going to fold that, and that's going to be our little book cover. Now the pages, I've cut 4 pages of designer paper, and they're blank on the back. Well, that one's not, is it? That one's got a, oh well, it'd be all right, a logo on it. But I wanted some blank paper for journaling spots. All right, so we're going to take these 3, and I mean 4, actually these 4. But what I was going to tell you is I cut these a 1/4 of an inch smaller. So these are cut at 5 3/4, because once you fold them in half and put them inside here, if you cut them at the same size, they're going to stick out. And I also cut it 6 3/4 up here instead of 7. So you can see it's not quite as tall as the booklet. All right. And I'm not going to try to find the center of 5 3/4. That's a little bit over my head. I don't do math. I keep saying that. I don't do math. Ugh. All right, so what we're going to do, we're just going to fold them in half. I can be a very creative person, a musical, but math, I don't know. All right, now, so there's that. Go ahead and make sure that was straight. I'm going to burnish it down. Okay, I'll show you what I'm talking about. So when you put this book in here, now the pages don't stick out. But if they were the same size as that, they would be sticking out about like that, you know. So anyway, just cut them a 1/4 of an inch. Now I'm going to round all the corners, and we're going to stitch these pages into our little booklet. Okay, so here's our little booklet with all of the corners rounded. All right, so I'm going to center the pages in there with the little cover, and I'm going to get my pencil, and I'm going to write down from the edge of the booklet. I'm going to measure 1 inch, and I'm going to put a little dot right in the crease, and 1 inch from this end, put a little dot right in the crease, which is really enough, but we might go ahead and do one right in the middle too. We'll do one in the middle just for fun. All right, now still kind of holding this all together. You can clip it if you want to make sure it don't slip. And if I had any more pages than this, I would use my book cradle. But since this is all, you know, it's just very, very few pages. I see a little smidge here that didn't cut. There we go. All right, so I'll take my hole punch and punch that. And since I've got to get way in here to the middle, I'll have to get my big bite out. This is the Crocodile Big Bite. I'm sure y'all know about these. But when you need to get way up in somewhere like that, then you have to use this guy. So I'll punch that hole, and we're going to punch. I know you can't see that, but I can't punch it sideways. So just bear with me. We'll punch those 3 holes. There we go. All right, now move you out of the way. So there's our 3 holes. I still got it clipped together, and then we're going to get some twine or something to stitch it. As a matter of fact, I was just thinking we don't even have to thread a needle and stitch this. I mean, this is kind of stiff twine, kind of waxed or whatever, so it'll be just fine. So you just have to decide if you want a little bow on the outside or on the inside. I kind of like it on the outside, so I'm gonna start on the outside. I want to leave a tail to tie. All right, we'll go down this hole. We'll go back up this hole, and then back out where I started. All right, so I just did a real simple stitch. All right, not even a stitch. I just kind of, all right, so I'm pulling that tight, and then I'm tying this over that middle thread. So it actually tied it down to keep it tight. And I did a little knot just to make sure it doesn't go anywhere. We could do a bow, but that is a very short tail. I may not have enough to make the bow. Let's see if I do. I can get that little tail back. Make a little bitty bow. Would be so cute. There we go. All right, now, there we go. So let's cut this off. And we can take this off of it now. And there is our little booklet. It is tied together. The pages are all in here. So now we're going to mat this, 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 and this. And usually when I make my little booklets on the inside, I make a pocket. So we'll have a mat and a pocket on each page. Okay, so I got these 4 pages, and let's see. This needs a corner. Say that's the front. And then the inside, we need to round them. And remember, our pages were 7 by 3, so I cut the mats 1/4 of an inch shorter than, so they would fit on that with a border around the edge. Okay, so we're going to do that. I'm going to glue all those down. Okay, so all those pages are in, and I have made a couple of pockets here that I'm going to glue down in here. So I'm going to do 3 sides, leaving the top open, and I didn't round the corner on this, so I just left a little contrast right there. I've done it before, and it just ended up making the pocket look crooked, so I decided not to. And that is thunder, if you can hear that. I think we're fixing to get a storm over here. All right, I'll put that there. And then I'm going to mat these pockets. Okay, the pockets are in, and now I can put little tags or something in there if I want to. And this whole little book is going to slide back there, and see that pocket on the bottom is going to catch it right there. That way when you pick it up, it's not going to fall out. Okay, and then I'm going to go and I'm going to decorate the front of this. But for now, that'll do it. I will see you next time. Have a great day. Bye-bye.